I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. Typically, at this moment in time, I am doing a group on Fridays. I've been doing this group. It's a free group that we have been doing every week for 2 years. Um, and in this group, it's free, and it's still something that I'm guided to do. Though for I don't know why today. And I've been kind of waiting to find out why before I let anybody know. And then all of a sudden, I was strongly guided to go live. And, it's kind of funny. It's an interesting sensation because I don't typically, Carmen, your first buddy. Good to see you, brother. I don't typically get nervous about going on a show. I just was feeling nervited, the nervous and excited sensation. Um, we're in a very important moment at this time. And a lot of you have been sensing it and are aware of all the different codes you find here and there to show you where we are, the road signs to let you know. Um, and so Carmen is asking if we're going to do a group meeting today. We're actually not going to do it today. Um, and I'm just guided not to at this moment. The closer we got to it, the more I just kept feeling this wasn't what we were doing right now. Um, and it's not going away. The weekly meeting isn't going away. It's been something that I've been trying to tinker with, revolving around the new schedule now that we're in a different time zone and stuff, though mostly I don't know. It's not something that's going away. It's just shifting somehow. So anyway, there isn't going to be a group meeting today. And so I'm just coming on to let you all know that, and I love and look forward to each one of you, and you're doing that. I feel like the reason that we're now here, on the live instead of doing a group right now is that there's something that is needing to be understood by a larger group of people, being that it's understandable. Many people are nervous about coming on those groups, and not knowing if it's okay, if they're safe, if it's okay to share their truth. And so not as many people who not as many people come to those meetings as of course see these lives. And so I just feel like we're supposed to have a bigger reach today. um, there's a handful of beautiful things that you can look at in the heavens to understand that we're doing this amazing thing. There was the alignment that occurred. I'm going to look just to be sure so I don't misquote it. The Mars, Venus, and Mercury. Yeah, so this is the story that just goes back to the line of conjunctions that started on the 27th of February. The 25th was the full moon, and then the 27th was when the conjunction between Thoth and divine masculine, or Mercury and Mars, had the conjunction. And this whole thing has been happening ever since, leading into the 22nd, for us to balance and to nurture. All of us have this little boy in us, this divine masculine and divine feminine, no matter your gender. And right now there's a lot of this this little boy inside, this little energy of a little scared boy needing to know that he's safe, that he's okay, that he's home, that he's known, that he's seen. And you could see this amplified in those embodied in a masculine form in this lifetime, particularly right now in this part of the life cycle that we're in. We're also in this new moon energy, this beautiful new moon that's coming in. Hey, it's 4:20 right now. There's something about 422. What is it? I think that it's a palindrome day on April 20th. It's not supposed to be a big day, but that's down the road. Today, though, I think that's at 6:57 or 6:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So do your own, searching to find the time for you. That's when we are at that new moon space completely. We are moving into the year of the dragon, and Chinese New Year begins. I've been known to be messing up, not be the best at translating time right now, so I'm not going to try. Though I know that if you go to the time zone of China, we'll find a more accurate moment of when the new year is, though my speculation is that it's really close to the same moment that our moon becomes new. So there's a lot of stuff about this. It's considered a supermoon also. So there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy in there. And I know I haven't seen Trina in the audience, but I do want to say happy birthday to Trina. I love you, girl. Happy birthday. You got it. You got this. It's a really awesome year. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to just pull in some of the comments. Amber, hello. She's second. Hello. Good to see you. Tareen, she says, Nervida, good word. My daughter invented this word. She just started using it and explained it to me. Brandy says, hello to everyone. Hello, sweetie. Struth Ruth, I like this. Hello, Mila from England. Been listening to you for a while with love and appreciation. Thank you, Ruth. I'm very happy to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Jody wants to know if anyone's been feeling dizzy. Anybody getting dizzy? Plenty of dizziness. Yeah. There's been a lot, actually, of this kind of energy coming in for me. I'm finding it to be very reassuring and exciting. It's really exciting. There's a lot of the all-mother energy coming in, and this all-mother that's coming in, she's reminding us. See, we started to feel the echo of the female dragon, the divine, the dragon that started coming, and then realizing what we're talking about. That this is the all-mother energy. It could be a dragon. It could be Mother Mary. However it is most calm for you to be able to see, then to just understand why it is that this is happening for you. What's the message meant to come forward for you? That's fun. Is that we're supposed to be using our voice right now. This is something I was just curious. I was wondering what chakra I'm supposed to talk about, and then I pulled a card just to see, and Lizard is speaking your truth. Lizard says, speak your authentic truth and be liberated. And so it did come out contrary. It did come upside down. So often that means we need to focus on doing this more in this time right now. There's something else about this time that I should highlight before I forget, is that it's just something a lot of people are having happen. Is we're having a lot of individuals experiencing this. I don't know how to explain it because everybody has different words. So I'm going to use all the words. Some people call it dark night of the soul. Some people call it hibernation. Some people call it flying beneath the radar, going hermit, getting in touch with your introvert, your inner introvert, things like this. This has to do with something that's happening globally right now in a collective way. There's a lot of people who are still connected slightly here and there to some of this old paradigm that is no longer. And so as this old paradigm that is no longer has been coming forward, we're being meant to kind of release it. And so anyway, as all of this is happening, as all of this energy is coming up, a lot of people are going in hibernation. Thank you, magical, beautiful, abundant. Yeah, just this hibernation, and it's okay. I would find that more people seem to be concerned or about what they have to do, what's supposed to be done, and find themselves in a place of fear as a result of this coming in. And don't, there's guidance to not be so alarmed, that if you're able to, give yourself moments here and there. Sometimes we're not able to. We're in a 9-to-5 job, and we're working 2 jobs or whatever it is, and living in large families, and things like that. But what you can do, allowing yourself to pull away and be in your own energy for a time, is helping to recalibrate. I got this big thing come in, and it was really funny because then I watched my brother talk about the same thing, talking about, they were talking about how the unschooling process, a lot of I homeschool my child, and she never has been in the public school system. However, those who have undergo, as we all know, a series of programs and conditioning that happens in this environment. And it is what it is. When a child is then brought into a homeschool setting, often there's this recalibration period. And so as a person's bringing this child in out of the homeschool system, they'll just kind of run crazy for a little bit. Maybe they'll play too much video games, stay up too late, do things that, or just get quiet, and not find any interest in learning for a time. This is allowing them to recalibrate and to pull away from these programs. And then very quickly, you'll find that this child, one thing at a time, starts to show interest in certain things, asking questions about things, and together the parent or whoever the teacher is guides that child through the process of learning and discovering how to answer those questions in a more natural way. We're doing that right now. I had to explain that whole thing to say that's what we're doing in a collective way. We are globally unschooling ourselves. As Yoda says, you must first unlearn before you can learn, or to learn, I think is how he said it. I know I slaughtered that quote. My apologies. I do claim to be a geek, but I'm not as good of a geek as many. Okay, I'm gonna go catch back up. Hello, Yolanda Marie. Good to see you, sweetie. Sarah says, hi, everyone. Hi, Pamela. Hello, sweetie. It's okay. Having Struth says, having my 60-year return to the wood dragon. Awesome. Yeah, it's the wood dragon this year. Really a lot of code. Voden, wooden, lots of stuff there, man. I almost pulled Elsa on today. If she's in the audience, I might invite her. So yeah, happy new moon, says Sarah. Oh, and happy birthday, Struth. Yeah, thank you for happy birthday to you as well. That's really cool. There's a lot of people having really cool birthdays right now. Happy new moon and Chinese New Year from Sarah. It's been a wild ride. That's right. It's getting a little bit crazier feeling right now. A lot of energy coming in. Things that are coming up right now are meant to show us how they don't resonate. So the visual I'm being given is that this beautiful, loving, large energy, a mother, is in your room with you as a child. And she says, do you want this? And then you choose. And then she sets it aside. And then she says, do you want this? And then you choose. And that's why these things are coming up right now. She's helping you to unclutter. We're spring cleaning, right? And so this is helping you to find your center. For many of us have taken on so many loads that we have found ourselves over encumbered, and therefore creating some form of barrier between ourselves and the things that are meant to be with us at this time. A more correct way of saying that is to return to self. We must first allow ourselves to remove the things occupying the space where those things belong. And so what we're doing at this time is we're spring cleaning. We're seeing each item that we keep on our shelves, inside the corners of our mind, in our heart, in our body, in our energetic field, in our social circles. Many of us are finding more and more the need to retract, to pull away, to not be so engaged in a social setting at this moment. And this is correct if this is what you're being guided to do for you. Not everyone will be feeling this sensation. Some will instead be grasping out, reaching out, looking for anyone to speak to. And in those cases, I suggest there's a group that's a Telegram group that I have, where the light bearers, and the link for that is in the description of this video. There are many people who are saying, is anyone else feeling this? And how comforting is it to see someone else experiencing what you're experiencing, and then also how comforting is it to ask that question and have it answered by someone saying, yes, me too. You're not alone. We're in this together as a group, as a family of light. And I got derailed a lot there. I think I was saying something about it being a wild ride. Hello, Matthew, love. Good to see you. Hi, all is any. Hello, hi, all to everyone. I think. And Matthew also says feeling magnetic energy. Yeah, buzzy, fuzzy, dizzy, wizzy, magnetic. It is so magnetic right now. This conversation about magnets has been a theme on the scene. I mean, there's been so much talk about this in my circle anyway, in my world. A lot being brought up about magnets, where we go, why we go there, the being on the magnetic ore, things that just cannot be ignored, being brought forward. This is a good point here. Geo Neo 9, are you grounded? I ground almost all day. It makes a big difference. Grounding really helps. This helps with dizziness. There's it's called ionization. If you can stand on the soil barefoot, or grass, or any place like this, we do undergo a process where our body collects these ions, these positively charged ions. And being positively charged, it implies, you would think, something good. This means that they're full. They're like that staticky noise that kind of gets around the energy field on the outside. And so when we ground like this, it's also called earthing in some circles. When we do this, we allow the positively charged ions to leave our body, leaving behind the negatively charged ions that are like more harmonious for us. Remember that we are reaching more heights in regard to the energy that we're able to keep at this time. And so as we're pulling in more and more energy, there is a recalibration period that it needs to happen in order for there to be a balancing. So at first, when we begin to sense this energy, it comes in, it does feel dizzy. It feels kind of weird. You feel kind of almost as if your brain isn't connected to your head in some way. It has a tickly wickly sensation for me, and it's also this buzzy kind of feeling. Not to forget to mention that we just had an X class flare, an X 3.38 class flare, which is quite large. Typically what we've been getting when we go, whoa, are the one in the middle. They're called M. That the way that it works for the solar flares is there's three main categories. You have C class, you have M class, which is the middle, and then X. And there's letters and stuff on the other sides too, but they don't typically bring them up as such as B. B comes right before C. And then there's a number associated to it to show the degree of the strength of it. We've been getting C flares, and we have just gotten quite a large X flare that came in. I'm not sure if it's Earth facing. Those big of a solar flares, they affect us. They do. They're big enough. So like this would be Earth, like a little teeny dot right there, like that one. And this whole thing would be the flare. And even if it wasn't Earth facing, it would still have this frequency that comes off of it and does. I noticed that in my where I usually look for this is called spaceweather.com, I believe, just for a useful resource for anybody who does like to spaceweatherlive.com. I typically will here, I think it's backwards, so you might not be able to see it because of the way that okay, you're not supposed to see that. Spaceweather.live.com. What's fascinating about this is that the polar absorption that's happening, that doesn't typically occur, where you're seeing the red on the top and bottom and orange there. This is polar absorption that happens when the solar flare is absorbed into the Earth versus often before we would find it being reflected out. So we're absorbing this energy, which is awesome. It feels kind of funky. So I spent a lot of time on that. I keep getting pulled in. There's a lot of energies coming through, man. So many energies. Feels kind of like limbo, taurine territory. Yes, feels like limbo. It does. This limbo sensation is to do mostly with the fact that we are in motion, is what I understand as the left foot, right foot, move, 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 walk, 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 kind of a thing. That we're actually doing this, like we're here. It's just that we're stepping deeper into our foundation at this time, and as we said earlier, that's the point for why there's so many of these old baggage energies that we're not so familiar with. Let me say that a different way. The energies that aren't in alignment with us any longer, that we were familiar with before, that were part of team body. Um, and so this was occupying space. And when space is occupied, then some energies are not able to fully ground and kind of unite inside. So it's really cool. Unschooling is the word, Sarah. Woo, woo. Hello, Patriot Hero. Hi, Mila. I'm glad I caught you. I'm glad you came. Good to see you. Let's jump down just really quick, because I have found that I've been missing people's comments a lot. So, hello, Janet. Good to see you, Christy. Lots of interesting stuff coming on. All right, Sarah, she has a question. Can you speak on this? I've been having random body pains come up, and it is like something I've felt over the years that went away, but it's coming back again. Yes, it does. Makes sense. Love to you as well. They've been calling this, and this is, I find that I can, because I had a dual major. My second major was English with a teaching emphasis. So I speak, and I do use words, like I see words in my, it's used like written. And when I communicate with spirit, when it's a spiritual concept, it's always capitalized. So sometimes you'll see that in like my Facebook and YouTube posts. So have seeming random words but capitalized. That's the spiritual word. Um, and when it's capitalized, it means something different. Anyhow, this growing pains with capital letters is a spiritual growth, and so that is something that most of us are familiar with from an earlier age, and often we're not able to truly recall what that sensation is or where it came from, though it does very much feel like your bones are growing. This deep, weird ache. Also, we should highlight before this remembering goes away, is this very deep, deep, deep and profound emotion that's coming up and rising to the surface. A lot of people are feeling this and have been. Those who have not allowed themselves to sense it or to experience it, not even to experience it, but just to feel it as it comes in, it's still kind of lingering. And so, everybody can make their own decisions for their own experience, though the faster that we let ourselves, the more completely that we put ourselves into the experience of the emotion that comes in, leaning into it rather than leaning away from it, paying attention to it for a moment rather than resisting and ignoring it, this will help it to go. It doesn't need to be invested in. We don't need to decide anything about it. In fact, the guidance is very specifically to acknowledge it without judgment and to release it with love, to live in a place where there is no judgment being had. It seems as if all we need to do is to not look poorly upon something, but this is not the way that this is meant. In this word choice usage of judgment, it means that you're not deciding a single thing about a thing. Simply, it is. It isn't red or blue. It isn't male or female, good or bad, wet or dry. It's none of those things. It simply was, is, and is moving through. More and more as we do this, we discover and realize that the emotions that we often had assigned as ours in some kind of possessive way, they aren't ours at all. They're meant to be moving through us. That is why they're called emotions, energy in motion. And for it needs to go, it is meant to go. And so as these things come up, they're not meant as attacks. Many people will assign the word psychic attack to such experiences because it does feel like it's coming at them, and so just keeping that in mind, that's something that I'm really in this place. There's a lot of channel stuff coming through. And so, Chrissy, all right, you just joined Telegram. Welcome. That's awesome. Yeah, if anybody else wants to join the group, there's over 400 of us. I can't remember how many there are. There's a good quantity of individuals there. Sarah says, I also had literal pain in my literal pain in my right foot today. I've never felt that. I never felt that. Felt like I was being electrocuted. Oh, okay. Yes, okay. This is very, very common. In fact, my daughter and I have become completely electric. Like it's very fascinating. Constantly shocking each other with static electricity. Um, there's always a cringe right before you touch something metallic or that's metal because there's going to be a very high voltage. And you could hear it from, across the entire yard. Bzzz, oh, someone just touched the doorknob. Like and it's just my daughter and I in this house that are having that experience, as far as I can tell. We are bodies of electricity. There's something else about going in and being able to discover what needs to be resolved and released at this time. And that has to do with the fact that this is, many of us have pulled in these emotions and allowed them to be part of us, thinking that they're something that we need to invest in and label and become who we are as a person. And as this has been done, then we've imprisoned these emotions. And the reason this is being brought forward right now is I'm meant to let you know these emotions don't want to stay either. They are liberated by you as their liberator when they are released. And so I keep getting hijacked. I'm going to finish what I was saying. This is very true. This is very true. I sense this every time that there's a release like this, then there's a wave of gratitude, of thanks, of, whippy, yahoo, thank you so much for saving me, for releasing me. I find that often emotions have a consciousness, like truly. And in this consciousness, there's some type of loyalty. You could call it also duty or obligation. That there's some type of agreement that is meant to be met by this partnership of you and this particular energy that is the emotion at that time. And that emotion does stick around if you want it there. Like you need me? Okay, I'll hang out, and so this may sound odd, though often I find that I can have a conversation with the emotion, and that's all that I need to do to release it, is say something like, thank you, you can go, and just like a lost puppy dog stopping to say hi. Maybe you might pet him and say, okay, now go home. And that's all it is. That's all an emotion really is meant to do. And right now, at this very moment, the depth of emotion is 4:44 p.m. Central Standard Time. The depth of the emotion that's coming forward, coming up, is very strong, very old, ancient, and deep, deep. And so some of it is good. We would call it good. Some of it you would call bad. Though any of it, when felt, even if you would previously perhaps called it bad or unpleasant, has an amazing euphoric sensation. It feels amazing, allowing it to release and move through you. And so now at this time in this new moon energy, often this is the most pronounced time to, just understand what your next step wants to be. And another way of saying that is often people will call it, this is when you plant or when you sow what you wish to harvest in the coming moments, and more and more we are realizing that this type of energy is accessible in every moment, whatever the phase of the moon may be. Though we do find that in a collective way, it's more pronounced for this at this time. And so as we do start to be able to realize that we are on New Earth, that we are on this Gaia, we are in this space of this beautiful higher frequency, that instead it's us that are unable to see where we are yet, being that within us, in this deep place that we have been asked to recently release these old things, these old energies, these echoes of frequency within us, occupying space in order for what is truly your center to come forward. I'm finding this to be very enlightening for everyone, though I find that the excitement behind it is kind of derailing me from trying to being able to focus on what they're trying to say there. They keep trying to say one specific thing, and I keep losing it because I am feeling nervous. I don't feel nervous on these. I agreed before I came on this live today that I would allow myself to channel. And so those of you who know me know that a lot of what I've been talking about has been channeled information. And I'm letting my my Mila come in a little bit when I start to realize that people are watching me. But yes, there's a lot going on right now with this needing to clear. I'll let that come back in and I'll finish that next time it comes back through. Chrissy says, I put all my crystals and rocks out last night to charge them through Mother Gaia. When I was picking them up off the ground today, my fingers were vibrating and went numb. Beautiful, beautiful energies. Yeah, that is really cool. There it is. Thank you very much, Chrissy. We are finding that inside, as we go deeper in this place where we are releasing these, you could call them shadows. It's not shadows at all. And as we release these things that just aren't in harmony with us any longer, so they have a deeper, darker shade of color is all, that we are able then to to notice that we vibrate. That are on a molecular level, that we are these vibrations, and then we're able to move these vibrations, the form that we are, and some of the health related issues that some of us are finding ourselves to have. We are discovering that all we have to do is talk to these vibrating molecules and they actually shift. It's really crazy. I know that sounds weird. Anyway, it's true, and that's what's happening. Let me find. Hello, everybody. Oh, Chef Deb, thank you very much. I love you too. Thank you. Whoa, what? Holy cow, I didn't actually read. That's a lot of nines. Thank you very much. Wow. I really appreciate that. Wow. Thank you. And Elizabeth says lots of intense solar flares happening right now. There are a lot of things occurring. With the we just had a X 3.38 solar flare just a few hours ago. I'll post it on. I did post it on Facebook. I'll post it on YouTube in the community section. And there's 77 people here. And then so you can see there's a lot of really awesome and easy and free access points to find out this information about the solar flares, as well as human resonance and stuff like this. I find it to be a validation tool more than anything else, because earlier on, when we first start to feel ascension symptoms and start to realize what they are, it can be very useful to be reassured that this, you're feeling something, and look, there's a sign of it right there. You're feeling something, the human resonance spiking. You're feeling very strongly. There's a massive earthquake that's happening on the other side of the planet, for we're all connected. We're all of the elements. We're all of each other. We are in the grass. We are in the air. We are in all these things. We are part of each other. There's an echo through all of us, this echo of love, of union, of camaraderie, of oneness that we've always had. And you know, I would say more and more we're beginning to sense it and to feel it. And and the more that we do this, the more that we're able to access this group telepathy that we're all experiencing, that we're all connecting in, and we're all sharing, that we're all having this conversation and this sharing of ideas and this guidance and this uplifting of one another in a community, family sort of way, energetically, and being called to certain points on the planet, like I know a lot of people are getting guidance for that at this time. I also had that guidance. I'm in a completely different part of the world than I had spent the rest of all of the other part of my life, and so it's happening. Shane AEP just got shocked while turning on a lamp. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how much we're connecting as Ruth. I completely remember my growing pains. Yeah, so we're having them again. A lot of us are having them. We really are, and growing. I'm finding that I'm being guided. Like I'll get energy on the like just behind my ears, like as if someone's pulling up my neck, and I'll get like this almost, it's like a pop 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 kind of sensation, but not like you would expect it, like one of those, oh, what is that medieval torture place, the chiropractor people. I'm sure it's awesome. It's just so creepy sounding. Anyway, uh so, but it's like that idea energetically. I'm not really feeling, there have been times where I have been out of alignment. And when this has occurred, when I've energetic, no one's technically, officially there in a way that this person's being seen by anyone other than myself. I'm sensing and I am aware of this energy. And that I give consent. This actually has something to do with lining up not only our physical body, but our chakra bodies and a lot of other kind of stuff. I kind of feel like we're growing taller. I knew that was something that's kind of been something that's been talked about in my energy. See, it's fascinating because we're actually at a couple of anniversaries coming up for what I've been doing as a YouTuber, as a person doing this. Is that so it was March 4th, 2021 that I posted my first YouTube video and opened my channel. And then almost a year later, on February 22nd, 2022, that day was also on a Tuesday. So it was Tuesday, as in two this day. Anyway, that was the first day that we did a group Zoom meeting publicly. We started to do these Zoom meetings 3 times a week. These free group Zoom meetings 3 times a week back then. At that time, I wasn't doing what I'm doing now. And so at that time, I did provide a lot more free services because I was able to do so. And I truly am looking forward to when that's in alignment again, where this financial system fully finds its place, and we were able to no longer request or require some type of financial exchange, rather a different type of energy exchange. So as this has happened for so many years, it's surprising that today I was guided to not do the group meeting today. And it isn't because we aren't going to do it any longer. We're going to continue to do this. It's simply today. This is the guidance I've been given. And as I was being guided to come on live, I was kind of nervous. I still kind of feel a little nervous because I'm not sure why I'm supposed to be here, but I know that my intention has been to remain more open to the channeling experience that comes through me, because often I try to translate it into Mila language, and so it's more palatable. And so I've kind of sounded a little bit of a mess today, probably. Who knows? But, so that's what we were doing today. Anyway, so there's a lot of anniversaries happening. The last one that I'm supposed to bring forward, because this is is that my 44th year, which is this year, my birthday is March 27th, and I have always been given the guidance of the year 44. When I turned 44, having to do with Pluto and Aquarius, these events did occur on my 44th birthday. I actually had forgotten that though anyway, and that happened last March. The 44th year was going to be the exciting one, but it was also going to be the hardest one for the collective experience. These experiences that I'm talking about have to do with everybody. This isn't, I'm just along on the journey with you. So it applies to me as well. It is not only me. Then between the 45th and 47th year are going to be, which is coming up, are going to be the recalibration time and really exciting, joyful times. We're already here. We're already feeling it. Many of us are still purging a thing here or there. We're releasing things that don't serve us. And so as we allow them to move through and to no longer be invested in these things, then we should, find ourselves in this place where we are be able to access everything. And moreover, seeing the abundant world that we're in, that every means of security is already met, that we are in a safe world, that we're in a place of protection, of love, that of ultimate longevity. And in that abundance that is before us, we begin more and more to discover that all things are truly free, just as we've all been guided to understand. A woven basket, having been woven long ago, this is the visual I'm being given, takes time to unravel in order to keep all pieces and all players intact. And so just allowing that to happen in patience. Hello, Danita. Yes, I said happy birthday to Trina earlier today. Happy birthday, Trina. It's good to see you. Amy says, hello, everyone. Grateful to be here with you all. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for joining us. Terry, I made it. Sending love to all who wish to receive. Thank you. Thank you for sending the love. There's so much happening right now that, oh yeah, I miss talking to you too. When it's in alignment, if anybody is interested in meeting with me individually, privately, that I do have sessions. There's a link in the description of this video. Takes you to a scheduling site, and then you can schedule a session with me. There's all kinds of stuff that comes through. Everybody is it's a individual basis. And so, Maria, thank you so much for the 44. I was inspired by Chef Deb to donate to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your information. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. You're so beautiful. That is so generous. Thank you. Terry's birthday is on the 4th. Hey, dude. March 4th. Yeah, I actually didn't even notice that it was March 4th. I believe it was the 3rd when I meant to do it, though it was my first upload, my first video upload. And so it took a lot longer. Actually, it took a long time. Pretty sure I was using the neighbor's internet at the time as well. We had just gotten into an apartment. I'd been homeless with my daughter for 9 months and 3 weeks. And we hadn't had internet yet. So anyway, I thought it was going to be on 3/3 and it was on 3/4. And it turns out March 4th, and we've been live for 44 minutes. All right. Happy birthday, Trina. Through. Thank you for saying that. Happy birthday, Trina. It's a beautiful time to be in a birthday space. New moon right now. Chinese New Year of the wood dragon, the Vodun wooden wood dragon. There's a lot of this coming through. We're finding that as all of these different codes come in, it doesn't, as the shows that Elsa and I and Stacy and the Trinity show and these types of different shows that a lot of us have done, it sounds complex when we talk. It sounds, confusing. And there's often things that we're not all able to process. Even the speaker, at least I can speak for myself, is that there's often times where I really don't know what's being said. Like, as I channel, which I try to do in these settings, because it's hard to keep up with a conversation in this format when I'm using too much of my own logic. And so I step out. Logic, ego is another word for this. I use the word logic. It just makes more sense to me. Um, as I step my logic out of the way, then I'm able to be a clearer channel, though I also don't hear what's being said often. Um, I have my own experience. I get to see the visuals. I get to see the code in this way. Why am I bringing this forward? Is that as we're all being guided right now, more and more to focus on this throat chakral space. This higher heart is another thing that people talk about. There is no higher or lower anything. All of the energy in your form is exactly perfect, in perfect alignment of what it's meant to be at this time, which is also why many of us are having these strange energy bursts, vibrational sensations, weird things happening like headaches at certain specific places for a time and then fade. Many of us are noticing even indentations in our skull. There's like bumps, there's like hole or groove where we're having headaches and then they close up. I was able to put the tips of my finger in this really amazing groove that went down. We have many chakras all over our bodies, not only the primary chakras that people talk about, from the crown to the tail, or the root is usually what people discuss, but there's so many more. And a lot of these were inaccessible previously when so much of our DNA was in dormancy. You know, that DNA that they used to call junk. They used to say that 90 to 95% of our bodies are junk DNA. Like, I went to the principal's office so many times over that. They really wanted me to say I believed that. And I wouldn't. I even had to, they punished me by making it so I would have to have lunch all by myself. And I was like, yeah, no people. Woo-hoo. Yeah. So that happened I think I had to have lunch alone a lot that year. Um, it's difficult when we know programming is being fed our peers. I entered the public school system later in life. No one even knew that many of us existed until, I was 13, 14 years old. People started to become aware of us when I was 13, 14 was when I entered the school system. And I hadn't been taught things at home that ought to have been in order to prepare me for such a thing. I knew how to write my first name, not my last one, and it was a very fascinating experience stepping in and seeing the indoctrination that occurs in the system. How very closely everyone stood in line and raised their hand to speak, asking permission to relieve their bladder. These types of things, these little things that many of us don't notice because they're before us and we do them in a habitual way on autopilot, you could say. These things, they can be more subtle and harder to see at first. And that's what we're doing right now, is we're noticing one thing at a time, the things that aren't exactly our idea, that aren't exactly something you would do naturally in the given situation you're in. It's simply that you've been programmed, conditioned, and the media, social media is not the only kind of media. Also, the different types of conditioning that we get from our teachers, our peers. It goes in a lot of different places. And most conditioners, I would say, don't even realize they're conditioning. And that's why it was easier for us to not see that it was a lie. For the person who was telling us these things didn't know they were lying. To them, it was truth. They were repeating something that was said and said before them and before them. You know, there's this big joke, you can't keep a secret in a room full of psychics. And so there is a way, this was the way around it. So as these things come up, we're noticing ourselves wanting to pull away more and more from large groups for a time, going through periods like we talked about, hibernation. Pardon me. Wow, that was unexpected. Hibernation, um, going into hiatus, flying under the radar, going hermit, you know, going within more, spending more time with self and quiet. And this is in order to find the things that are truly us, you know, and then able to make our decision. What are we taking? What are we taking to this new place? Technically, it feels like through each of these awakening phases that have grown in rapidity since 2007, truly, um, more and more every year, exponential growth is just off the charts, isn't it? Um, we're finding more and more that it is about seeing what isn't in harmony with us so we can release it. And when we do that, everything else just happens automatically. I can hear my heart when you speak. That's really cool, Janet. I love you, Mila. I love you. That's really cool. Chef Deb, I so resonate what you are saying right now, just on repeat. Awesome. Thank you, Chef Deb. Maria, hi. I have a thyroid sickness. Can the symptoms get worse in the strong energies? Yes. Yes. So if we have a precondition, pre-existing condition rather, um, anything that comes in will, you know, be affecting you equally as it does everyone else. And so if we already have something going on, it can make it flare up. Though if you feel guided to see your physician, then by all means do so. For, you know, everyone on this call and who are watching this at this time, you know, there's nothing wrong with seeing your doctor. There's, you know, I have learned to anticipate what feels like judgment from the medical professionals if I do feel like I need to go get it looked at. Um, one of the things that many of us are finding the struggles with is these heart palpitations. There's a lot of heart palpitation reports having to do with the energies coming in and the realignment. And as our DNA comes out of dormancy and more things activate and all of these chakras coming online that we kind of forgot we had in our toy box, you know, and so we're kind of like those kids that are first taken out of school and given a whole, you know, world of toys and say, what do you want to do? You know, at first that kid's going to be on their bike all day long and, you know, maybe playing video games all day long. It depends on the kind of conditioning they're coming from. Anyway, I digress again. Um, I, I'm finding I'm good. I will find a balance between answering questions and letting this channeled or things come through. Um, with the thyroid, I can say that this is in association with the area that is being highlighted right now. The voice, the lizard, speak your truth, speak your authentic truth, and be liberated. Is what the lizard says to us. Brother Lizard came through in cards. When I was asking about which chakra is being most focused on right now to amplify. And remember that there's a whole chakral system. We have a whole chakral system within the chakra of the throat chakra. There are many, many of these. And so one at a time and sometimes several at the same time, these activations are occurring. I've had people report different types of discomforts, as well as what's more enjoyable, the reports of individuals who are finding themselves just spouting out, saying things. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to grab this one, Jeanette. Singing. You know, people are you know, using their throat chakra. They're doing light language. They're doing toning. I find that I tone quite a lot. Toning is just humming like in a harmony along with the energies that are coming in. Often I tone with the setting sun, the rays of the setting sun. That's why you'll typically see so many photographs of the sun as it sets, as I'm out there. I'm out there and I'm saying good morning and I'm saying good night. And I find that I'm not able to resist the voice coming from this place as I meet the frequency of these sun rays. I'm anxious, I'm excited to learn more about these sun beings, though I can say that they've been coming in. These beings, I my arrogance of what it means to be a being prevented me for a time to see the likelihood of there being other individuals, consciousnesses that might reside on the sun. So when they first started to come in 4 years ago, I was surprised, very surprised, happily so. They're very gentle, loving, playful energies. They feel definitely very old and wise, as if their lifespans are quite a bit longer than ours, though in such a balanced way, they're able to be in a place of play at all times. This joyful, giddy, hey, how's it going? It's so great to be here. You're so awesome. Look at the chair. Let's sit on it. Just they're fun. And they remind us to laugh. They remind us how peculiar it is to say that we're sitting on a chair. How peculiar it is to put the cloth on our bodies and, just all of the things in observance that is that they, question and are interested. Their intrigue is fun. It's fun. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie says, please could you click the like button so more people can find this? Thank you kindly. Thank you very much, Jackie. It's true. The more the likes that we do get, it's one of those things. But it's whatever you feel guided to do. Leona says, just joined. Love and blessings to Mila and all on chat. Thank you all. Thank you for all your precious work to assist others. Thank you, Leona. There's some really awesome stuff happening. Really awesome. And I do want to bring this forward because many people are feeling discomfort in some way. Because it feels kind of, some people are feeling like a panicked energy. I would say that more correctly stated, it feels like they're being guided to move, to begin motion of some kind. And it's not a warning to flee. It is being called like magnets to places on the planet. This is the visions I've been given since the near-death experience when I was 14. And it's continued. There's been elements added to it for understanding, or perhaps when I was able to gain the understanding at a later point in life, once having seen certain things. Though, however it has occurred, I've seen more and more that we're all gathering in certain central places, and there are many of them. There is nobody's, whatever. There is no particular location that is the place for all to go. There are places that are the most in alignment with each individual and enough occupancy for all. And this is slowly occurring over the entire planet. The migration away from more densely populated places has been occurring for some time. I noted it begin. Wow, that's funny how I worded that. I am going to 1999, and so at this time, so it was 2000, when people started to truly migrate and began to follow that call. Some people became preppers. Some became, what we may call a zealot. There are people who are understanding and following their inner guidance, that it was time to move and slowly begin to prepare these places. More and more, these spiritual communities are popping up all over the planet, and other types of energies are moving into these locations that were previously occupied by those individuals, and then those who were deeply in the city, in the density of the city places, the dwellings there become emptied. When I first saw this vision, it alarmed me. There was every 8th, 9th house, there was somebody. It's like, where did they go? And it was just so eerie, because if you look into each of these places, these empty homes, they're left as if they were planning to come right back. They weren't planning to be gone very long. They still, in some cases, there was still food laying out on the tables, as if they were preparing to have a meal, or maybe just finished and hurry out the door, um, planning to return to clean up the dishes later on. And I wondered and I asked, and it isn't that people are disappearing, dying exactly for this particular vision. What they were showing me is that people go to places like the one we're beginning to create here on this amazing place in Arkansas. There are many spiritual communities being made all over, and individuals will go to visit for a time and don't plan to stay. They don't. They don't. They they plan on going home. They plan on going back and getting their stuff. And over time, over the years and the many months, they talk about going back and getting their stuff. I got to get my stuff. And after a while, not even recalling exactly what that entails. What is that? What things did I own? They obviously don't matter. I don't recall what they are. They're false anchors. And so these houses, these apartment buildings, these townhouses in these city places, you look through from door to door, and many of them are empty, dusty, but full of furniture, full of belongings, full of stuff. And so we're here. We're here. This is the vision and the experience of what occurs throughout the beginning and into my 44th year. So this begins March. This is next month, when people start to really do this in a way that everyone notices, in a way that it cannot be ignored. Rather, more and more people will be noticing this and finding that they too are just not going home. They don't need to go back to their stuff, you know. As many of you have noticed, um, or maybe you've known because of a story that I told about it. I came here as well from Washington State. I left all of our belongings. I left our truck. It wouldn't have been able to drive this far. I left everything. We gave it away. We gave it to people who could use these things. And we only brought 3 suitcases and 2 boxes, one containing my computer so I can continue to connect with you all. And it's fascinating, because immediately after that occurred, a lot of people began to report to me that things were occurring in their lives as well. Some were more out of control, situations where suddenly something had occurred here and there and all over the place, where people had lost entire storage units full of belongings. Most of the belongings therein, again, they weren't sure what they were, but they knew they were important because they were their things, their stuff. And more people are beginning to find their need to relinquish more and more of these false anchors, of having too many things, too much stuff. After a time, becomes over encumbering. After a while, the stuff that you own begins to own you, and you find that you're limited by your choices. Your choices are limited by the quantity you possess. And so this is another part of this. As above, so below. As without, so within. We are releasing the things that don't serve us. What is it that doesn't serve you? What are we? Yeah, you could hear the puppy. We have people coming home and the dogs are happy. I love living here. There are so many beautiful animals. That was Butters. Butters a big galoof, and he will eat anything. That's why he's called Butters. Anyway, dog is also known as loyalty, and just being the echo of that from before when we talked about loyalty is the loyalty that the energies that are moving through you have with you and for you. And so as emotions come up, allowing yourself to say in some way, whether using your voice, speaking it in your mind, or simply having an expression come from your heart to say, I release you. You're no longer required by me. Thank you for your service. Something like this. And they will find that they will be released. And the liberation that they sense, the joy that they experience, the gratitude that they send back to you in great thanks of their liberator for releasing them. And we didn't want to have them at anyway. These sensations were dictating our experiences. They were the lenses on our glasses we couldn't change, fogging, clouding, filtering out what we were able to see the love that is truly before you, for it is you. And all that you are is what's before you. And so the cleaning out of the within space, makes it then possible to connect to what you who and what and how and where we truly are in this heightened frequency place. And it begins to echo into your reality. You know, some individuals will compare some of the experiences that I talk about and say that I'm having delusions, or I'm seeing things that aren't true, or something. And that's okay. I am happy with whoever needs to hear that needs to hear it does. And that's all that needs to be known. However, it is useful how often I've gotten validation, and that this is truly a frequency that is kept. So many people seeing the same thing at the same time without comparing notes is a reality that truly exists. All of us, what we had in common, the common denominator, was we all have the intention of healing, of self-improvement, of remaining the student, and allowing ourselves to teach what we have learned so we can share, so we can continue the Reiki of the equal energy exchange with the universe, with all things, with our fellows, and with all. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I was talking about. Yeah, Deb, my God, you speak truth. Thank you. Oh, hi, Sharmony. You know what, Sharmony? 44 legs, Diamond Heart 888. Is really cool, Sharmony, is that I was talking to Stacy, and we get it on the Telegram. When you do a phone call on the Telegram, that's at Stacy and I usually talk. We just don't turn on our video. Anyway, they give a little code so you can see it's really you. It's encryption. And it was there was a diamond and a heart, and it was yesterday, and it was on 8/8. And I meant to tell you. And so there you are. Hello. So you came through. Been seeing a lot of fours, says Robin. Been seeing a lot of fours the past few days. What does it mean? It's changed. Yeah. So this is something. And I've been seeing a lot of eights. In fact, 88 people, an hour and 8 minutes. 88 people between YouTube and Facebook combined. Okay, so this is so funny too. I just thought the stars were moving for me. I wasn't even thinking about the likelihood of it being craft in the sky with cool lights and stuff. I just wasn't the experience, and I'm accepting of what's before me. For every time these guidances have come through, I've not been misguided in any way. The more that I can allow myself to follow and be caught by the universe, the more in alignment all things are. We find that our energy, instead of being as straight and narrow, is more of a stream. We are water, allowing ourselves to flow in the directions we are meant to. And so, being in these experiences, sometimes we allow our logic to try to understand it in a way that maybe is not entirely correct for the moment. It doesn't actually matter. Allowing yourself to embrace the moment and to accept the code that's coming in at that time is truly all that matters. And so I did. I saw this vision in the sky at night. Here it's so dark. There's no light pollution. It's just us. So we're on 152 acres. This is where we're going to have that party on April 8th for the eclipse. If anyone wants to join, by the way, there's a link below. You can connect to that and buy a ticket for that. We will only be having that open for sale until March 17th. Based on the weather, the way it's been, it should be very pleasant for camping. You can bring your car, RV. There aren't any RV hookups, however, but there are Airbnbs and hotels. I'm being told that there still are some around here. So anyway, why am I bringing this up is that so we're going back to the 8 again, and that's the theme. So I saw in the night sky up in the heavens it was a triangle, and there were a point of light, 3 points of light, and inside filled up. First, the 3 points were made, and it filled up with this beautiful violet color. I would say it was violet and like, I don't know, mauve mixed in there somehow. It was a very beautiful color. Anyway, what had occurred was then there was a folding out. So then it opened. It opened. So then there was one more point of light. So then it turned into the shape of a diamond. As this opened, those energies. So we were being shown that using my hand as the triangle, as this visual that they had given me in the night sky, that we are all on a point of this triangle, of this trinity. And as we've been completing all of these trinity examples, we are becoming more. We are returning to self and recollecting the parts of us that have been, left here and there along the way. And as we do this, we are moving into the quadrinity. We're not leaving the trinity behind. In fact, 3 of the main points of the 4 are made by the trinity themselves. And so, as this unfolding occurs, you will find that many individuals have been on this awakening experience with intention for quantities of time or limited amount of time. It does not matter. We will find we are in a different spot on this triangle. Excuse me one moment. Excuse me. As we unfold in this awakening place we're in now, what occurs is it opens like this, yes? And as this happens, there are some individuals who truly were very resistant to the awakening experience that they're in. And so perhaps they're on the top. And so as it opens into this quadrinity, it's kind of neck breaking for those who are here, right? And then those maybe in the middle are having this jolt. It's excited. It feels like maybe you're on a roller coaster. We're having a lot of giddy, excited energies and stuff like that coming in. And there are still more individuals that are down here that perhaps even assisted to push this open. And this is a gaining of more of who you truly are rather than leaving really anything behind that you are. Where in fact you're finding that what we're leaving behind has nothing to do with who we are. It is things that were assisting us to experience and to remain in this limited space that we had been existing in. For a time, that was something that was useful. And this time is no longer. And so we are leaving these parts, these elements that no longer are in alignment with us. As we release these things, we're finding that we're also having these purging, not only of the emotional body, but of the physical body. So there's a lot of sensations occurring with this. Allowing yourself to accept new sensation can be of great assistance, for resistance does often cause what can be called disharmony or a disharmonious experience. And so I find myself often when things come in that what I'll do is I'll put my hands up, palms up. This is my code of I'm making an act and doing some kind of motion to say, yes, I accept. Thank you. Sometimes it's during incredibly pronounced ear ringing. Sometimes it's during something much more profound. I would say that more and more of us are getting these activations simultaneously. And so as we do this, what we're doing, it looks really cool. What we're doing is we're growing more into the oneness that we are in this telepathic manner. And so we're finding that we're hearing each other more. There's less desire to communicate in a traditional manner as we had before. though often still relying on these mechanisms of like texting, messaging, and calling and things like that as a way of being sure that the point that you would like to have made is clear. However, more and more we're finding that we're connecting in a telepathic way, in harmony and in joy, and it's fun. And you don't have to do all the other social rules, meaning when you're done, you're done. There's no sitting there holding the doorknob and slowly leaving and they're still talking. You just are done. And then you go. And then you connect again when it is time again. Often, too, in conversation, to pack it all in a window of time while this person's in front of me. And when we have these telepathic conversations, usually it's a piece here. And then a little while later, some more of it there. And a little while later, some more of it there. And then also during a particularly profound moment, you'll find that there'll be a large swell of understanding that comes in. For we are united in this reemergence of understanding. You could say that there are layers to float upon within the ocean, deeper and deeper and deeper. And what we have done at this time is that we have raised our buoyancy. And so you'll find that there's this recalibration period where you're trying to find balance. And so that's what we're doing right now. Allowing yourself to use your voice chakra at this time, your throat chakra, by using your voice. Again, Brother Lizard, he says, speak your authentic truth and be liberated. And Brother Lizard's been coming through for quite some time, a lot, and the fact that that was the card that I pulled, I've been shuffling them for a while, nervously saying, I'm going to go live? Really? We're not going to do the group today? To Spirit, and this is what I was meant to do. I didn't actually have an argument. I was just like, okay, here we go. So Jeanette has a question or a comment. So true me, learn what I see and know from the other side of the plane. Thank you. Thank you for saying this. It's very useful to have validation. We don't truly need validation. It's just very useful because when we do, then we can slowly learn to trust ourselves. Many of us, if not all, have been raised. I'm sure that there's some amazing, like bush tribe someplace that's never had any influence from the outside world, that are in perfect alignment and don't have any of this conditioning, though most people that I interact with do. And that's the lack of self-trust. The teaching, having been taught over time throughout life, and perhaps very likely, in fact, multiple life cycles, and not just this one, being conditioned not to trust self, to question yourself, to wonder if you're crazy often. These types of experiences, many of us have had multiple times. And so allowing ourselves to undo this conditioning by speaking our truth, and also allowing ourselves to access others who are speaking their truth, so we can see the validation that is abundant and everywhere. For we are all truly abundant. We all have all the things that we need to be completely happy all of the time. All of the time. Speaking of time, Terry Love just said it was 333 over there. That's really cool. There has been a lot of synchronicity coming through about the threes and trinities moving into the quadrinity. I just wanted to echo what I think was said, is that we're not leaving anything behind. We're not leaving any of the good stuff behind. However, we're finding that all of the old rules we played by don't work. They're not the same. It's very much like learning to ride your bike with training wheels. And then when the training wheels are taken off, there's a new learning to happen. You've discovered how to balance. You've learned a lot of things, but you've learned them around this limitation that is self-imposed. And so as we now learn around knowing, believing, understanding that you no longer reside within this limitation, this limited field, And we get to start to figure out what we can do. What tricks can we do? We can pop willies. We can, we can also skin our knee, and as we explore and experiment, it's trial and error. We discover what we enjoy doing. And that's what this time is meant to be about, is that once we release all of these things, and we're continuing to do it, it's not that it has to be all the way done for any of the joy to be had. Each moment that anything is released, then there is space for this light frequency element, this part of us that is returning, that then occupies that space. And so more and more each time, each day, each moment of healing, you become more and more your true self. And as you become more and more this true self, then the things that we prioritized or even felt like were greatly important, it's difficult to recall why we thought that they were, why we thought they were important, and they really aren't. And more, the things that used to bring us joy, they stop. We also spend time wondering why we invested so much time into that experience, So anyway, there is so much beautiful energy coming through right now. Good night, Ruth. Good night. Thank you for joining us today. There, I am feeling like it's about time for me to close as well. I've been on for 121, 21 for 1 hour, 21 minutes, 21 seconds. The most important thing that I would like to convey before I go is that we're in a place of gifts. Gifts are a word that we give often to talents, spiritual access, and abilities, though also it is to do with celebration, rewards, obtaining what it is that we've been missing. And that has been things that we have truly hidden from ourselves. And until we're ready, which we are now. And so, as we, one thing at a time, accept each gift into our frequency, we will find that all things that were not in alignment begin to fall away a lot easier on their own almost. The more that we put the intention forward, the more effortless things become. And so I just want to thank all of you, because I feel you. I feel the work that you're doing. I feel the energy. I see the light of the planet and glowing so bright. I feel the motion, the movement, the release of all of these things. And it's been hard work for a lot of people. It's been difficult to be in that frequency, in that energy. And I am happy that we get to be in this place to say that we're moving through at this time to this place where work is no longer work. That these things that we used to assign arduous or tedious or difficult become play. And so it's just really a beautiful, loving experience. Robin, your voice has been extra soothing tonight. I love you, sweet sister. Thank you. I tend to speak differently when I open myself to channel. And some people have told me that they can go back and look and they can find the part when I'm channeling and who it is. I can tell who it is. Often it's a group these days. I don't find that there's one energy coming forward. Often it's several. I'm sure that many of you can also feel that. So thank you. Thank you, Mila, and everyone in the chat for all you are doing. I'm so grateful to have you in my life, as am I. So grateful and so full of joy to connect to all of you and to feel so much love, intention. It's refreshing to always get to connect and to find more and more each of us are raising the bar, as the way I say it, or improving, evolving. continually. Divine human text straight back at you. Thank you. Receiving and feeling the love. I'm very glad you're feeling the love. I send it out to all of you. Thank you all for being here. Once more, I would like to say happy birthday to Trina. I love you, Trina. Happy birthday. I love all of you so much. And I will be going live on my normal time on Sunday. Happy new moon. Happy new Chinese New Year. The year of the wooden dragon, the Vodun dragon. And allow yourself the gentleness that you would afford anyone, of needing a moment of rest, of time, of space, as we recalibrate the previously lopsided or distorted in some way divine masculine energy. We're finding more and more that there is this guilt and shame that is meant to be experienced so it can be released. The guilt and shame associated specifically with inaction. Not all moments are meant to be filled with action. Some moments are meant to be filled with silence, with calm, and with recalibration. Remember, you are all doing so much work right now. If your dishes are still in this, that is not a measurement of what you have done. Thank you for continuing to heal, for allowing yourself the gift of this healing, for your helping all of us at this time. I love you so much. Okay, now I'm crying, so I'm gonna go. I love you.